The day before yesterday, as we are recording, there was an attack on a Mormon church. Take this with the knowledge that I am not and never have been Mormon, but I have lots of opinions about the actions that the Mormon church takes in American politics. It goes back quite a while. Zach and I, neither of us are religious. I kind of think it was a long time ago that a Persian philosopher said that all prophets show themselves to either be insane or charlatans. Joseph Smith was arrested for being a con man and convicted of fraud that was very, very similar to how he got his revelations. That said, Mormons do not deserve mass violence. However, the political activities of the Mormon Church, most of the money for the campaign against gay marriage in California, I think that was in 2006. Most of it was from Mormons in Utah. Involved with politics like that, you get political responses. No one in the gay rights movements launched violent attacks against Mormons. It's a little unjustified, although they're and stopping people from getting married. It's certainly not the same as killing them. There it is, however, stopping gay marriages is a step on the road to wiping out gay people. That should be condemned, like I just read. Paradox of tolerance. We should not tolerate that. However, this terrorist who attacked this Mormon church, he was a Christian. There are endless debates about whether Mormons count as Christians. The formal title is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Frankly, I do not care who exactly constitutes being Christian. If you have weird beliefs that what man is, God was. What God is, man can be. If you think that whether that makes somebody by definition not a Christian, do not find that very interested. I find lengthy talks about what is fully unsupported uninteresting. However, this person who attacked them, he said that that Mormons were the Antichrist. So, we're not talking about someone like me and Zach here. And he apparently had a Trump flag. And I think this is ultimately why, I don't know, Zach would call Christo-fascists, but I would just call theocrats. I'm just using a big label on a lot of people here. They're pushing to have enshrine intolerance in our laws. That's the problem, though. When your intolerance is coming from your religion, that will inevitably result in clashes between different branches of the same religion. It's like Sunni Shia clashes have been going on for a long time. They both attack people that Americans would have no distinction from Muslims, i.e. Yazidis. We have now, I guess, probably Protestant on Mormon violence. They have not gotten along in the past. And mostly.
Look, I think this is just a continuation of the breakdown of our pluralistic bedrock to our society, right? I've talked in the previous show about how settlers from different religious backgrounds at a certain point had to find a way to coexist and within the time period of the Enlightenment and of course a lot of religious conflict back in Europe that a lot of people were fleeing. It wasn't atheists like you and me that were pushing for a model of pluralism where no religious establishment would be paid respect to in the establishment of any law in that country, right? It's a very practical bedrock principle to have in a society that has really any diversity of beliefs. And I think a lot of people, because it has worked so well, a lot of people have kind of forgotten why it's so necessary. And so,
Yes.
it's kind of a classic, one of those historical kind of amnesia, where after a few generations you just, okay, we forgot why we have this measure in the first place. So let's see what happens if we get rid of it, and then disaster happens. That's what happens.